What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. A lot has happened at the farm over the last month. Today, I'm going to bring you along and show you the progress we've made. Things are really starting to come together and it's super exciting. Let's go! Let's start things out with the strawberries, then I'll show you the irrigation system that we just got installed for the whole farm. Last month, the strawberries were growing relatively well, but the weeds were getting out of control. So I had to do something before they started to creep into the rows. I went by with a weed whacker and cut all the weeds down to make it easier and more efficient to cover them with the mulch. You can see a major difference before and after weed whacking. The strawberries were looking healthy and the compost on the rows helped keep the weeds out of the rows of strawberries. Next, it was time to mulch. I grabbed some contractor's paper and began laying it between the rows. The contractor's paper is essentially thin cardboard, but the fact that it's on a roll makes it really easy to use. The contractor's paper is important because it completely blocks out all the light from the weeds that are growing. Then the thick wood chips helps hold it down. You could just use wood chips, but you would likely have some weeds find their way to the light and grow through. After a few months or so, the contractor's paper will break down, but at that point, most of your weeds should have died off. I have used this technique for many years and it works really well. Plus, it's all organic and no plastic needed. Between the rows in the center of the strawberry patch, I needed to use a wheelbarrow, but fortunately, wood chips are light, and it didn't take that many loads to fill the center walkway. At this point, things were really looking good, but I wanted to put wood chips on the front and back side of the bed of strawberries as well, so I rolled out my contractor's paper and used the tractor to get the job done. I got the strawberries mulched with wood chips just in time because a few days later we had a horrible heat wave and the temperatures were over 100 degrees for 3 days. It was between like 103 and 105 degrees. To help the strawberries cope with the heat, I knocked in some posts and then put up a 40% shade cloth over the strawberries. Between the thick mulch and the shade cloths, the strawberries did really well through the heat. Now, let me show you what the strawberries look like today. They are thriving. Some of the plants have gotten absolutely massive and they're sending out a bunch of runners, which is gonna be perfect to fill some gaps. I'll show you in a second. And even some of the day neutral ones, like the ones back here, are starting to fruit. This is a nice fruit set right here. So we should be getting some strawberries this year, which is exciting. Then as you move this way, you will notice these all look beautiful here. These back 2 rows are all filled. There's almost no gaps, which is great. But then these front 2 rows struggled a little bit. So like I mentioned, we're gonna take some of these runners, we're gonna root them in the ground. Then after they root, we'll move them to fill these gaps in here. It's exciting though, because next year we're gonna get a massive harvest of strawberries, but it looks like we're still gonna get a harvest from some of the plants this year. To keep the weeds from encroaching onto the wood chips and finding their way into the bed, I plan on putting a border around this whole big strawberry patch. And it's about 50 feet by 20 feet. So let me know down in the comments if you guys have any ideas on how I should create a border. I could use that plastic, that black plastic, to keep the weeds from encroaching, but just let me know if you have any other ideas. One of the most exciting things that happened over the last month was I got the irrigation system installed. So we put in 15 hose bib connections throughout the terraces. All we got to do now is just turn them on. We got running water everywhere out here. The machine that was used to install the irrigation system cut a trench and placed a pipe at the same time. They were able to do it without causing any damage to the terraces or my fruit trees or any of the other perennials. The way I have it set up is there's 4 hose bibs on each terrace. There's a hose bib all the way at the end of each terrace on either side. And then there's hose bibs on either side of where the kitchen garden is going to be. Then at the top terrace, I only have 3 hose connections because it's smaller. And then there's another one all the way at the top at the highest point on the terrace. The irrigation that I got put in is really a foundational setup because what I can do is add things like drip irrigation to my strawberries because I've got this hose connection right here. And I could do the same thing for all my other perennials and my kitchen garden. I added some additional hose bibs like this one right here for in the future when I get some chickens. That's why I have this door here as well. Then I added a few more on the perimeter of the property and the terraces just to make sure that I have water wherever I need it in the future. I also decided to break the irrigation system into a few different zones, and I added some shutoff valves. You'll see here if you come in. So we've got a shutoff valve right here. This is important because if for some reason one of the hose bibs is leaking or breaks or something, I can just isolate that one zone and turn it off, and then I can use the rest of the irrigation for the whole farm. I decided to put about 4 hose bibs on each shutoff valve. So there's 2 in the center here and then 2 on the terrace above me. This will just be super helpful to be able to isolate zones if I do have an issue in the future. Let's shift over to the fruit trees now, and I'll show you the progress that we made on them. For these, I did the same thing as the strawberries. I laid down some contractor's paper around the trees, then went by and dumped a thick layer of wood chips. This will dramatically help with the growth of the trees. And you can see it already has. The fruit trees have put on so much growth. Look at this peach tree. This is where we cut it back to in the spring, and this is all new growth just from this year. Pretty incredible. The wood chips have truly made all the difference. We haven't had rain here for at least a week, and I bet if I look under here, look at that. The soil is still moist, it's cool, and it's perfect for the roots of these fruit trees. Then this contractor's paper will just tear off like that. And you can see it's killing the weeds, it's keeping the tree hydrated, and they look really, really happy. The apple trees are also doing really well and putting on a lot of growth, but there was one issue that was my fault. When we had those super hot days, I decided maybe it'd be a good idea to cover some of these apple trees with a shade cloth, just like I did for the strawberries. But one of the nights we had a big windstorm and the shade cloth fell. When it fell, the shade cloth came down and actually cracked the top of one of my apple trees, which was unfortunate. You can see the crack right here. Luckily, there was still a lot of growth below where it cracked, so I went by and removed the cracked portion of the tree with my pruners. Here's the tree today. It's still looking healthy and growing well. The only real downside is that I ruined the shape of the tree because I had to remove this central leader right here. So what I'm going to do is, you can see we already have some new sprouts coming up right there, coming out of the tree. And then I'm just gonna encourage that to be the central leader next year, and then bend these branches down to give them the space. So this is the new central leader that's coming out right there. It's not ideal, but it happens. Fortunately, I only had damage to one tree. The other ones, if you move this way, take a look, are looking really healthy. This one's doing pretty well, and these ones down here, like look at the size of this thing. This thing has grown a lot since we first planted it just a couple months ago. After I made the mistake of covering the tree with the shade cloth and then the shade cloth falling and cracking the tree, I realized what I should have done, and I don't know why I didn't think of it before. I should have just sprayed the tree with the Team Grow Kaolin Clay. This would help with sunburn, and it would reduce the amount of sun exposure the plant was getting to help cope with the heat more. It would have been simple and quick to do. So if I do get more heat waves in the future, I'll make sure to go by and just spray them with the clay. And I'm also going to need to spray these with the clay as the fruit starts to develop just a couple years from now. The cherries are looking good also, but they do seem like they may need a little bit of fertilizer. I can tell with how pale some of the leaves are. So what I'll do is I'll go by, I'll pull back the wood chips, add some organic fertilizer, and then cover the area back with wood chips, and these things should get a nice deeper, darker green color to them. The grass along the terraces is still coming in relatively well. It's been super hot, so it's struggling a little bit. And I've held off on planting any more for now because it's late in the season. I'll pick back up in the fall. But if you come in here, having the straw down and stuff has really helped. When you go in here, you can still see there's a lot of nice grass growing. So I'm sure it's gonna continue to grow well. And then once it cools off a little bit, I think it's just gonna explode into growth, all this grass. The difference of before and after with and without the grass is extreme. Look, I'll take a few steps here. Look at this. It's like beach sand. And then when you walk in a section like this, you just like kick up sand, so it's kind of hard to walk, as opposed to even just walking on the grass now. It's just making it so much easier to walk around, and I'm confident when the fall comes that we're gonna get a lot of nice growth. I've also planted clover in sections, so the clover is coming up nicely as well, so it's gonna be a great system. The terraces have truly made all the difference though. This area used to just be all hill. It would rain, all the water would wash down the hill. Now, everywhere is flat. So when it rains, it falls, it sinks in the ground, and then for our perennials, we've got the thick mulch down so we can hold onto that moisture. And this place is, you know, made a big change in how green it is, even though in some locations it's still a little bare, but we'll fix that. In the future, it's gonna look like an oasis out here. Over the last few days, I've been assembling some raised beds for the kitchen garden. This is one section here. It's 21 feet wide by 15 feet long. And there's 4 sections that we have that are all the same size. So one area, this is how I'm thinking I might lay it out. We've got some big 4x8 raised beds here, 4 of them, still plenty of room for access. They're gonna be shifted a little bit here and there, but this is just generally how this section's gonna look. Then if we move here, we're gonna have a 6 foot wide walkway that goes all the way up all the terraces. And then on this side of the walkway, we have another section that's 21 feet wide by 15 feet long. And then there's 2 more sections up there. So I'm still trying to decide on what I wanna grow in these areas and how I wanna lay it out. So leave me some ideas down in the comments if you guys come up with something interesting to try to make this place look beautiful. But it's super exciting to get some raised beds in. We're gonna be growing some annuals here. Our fall garden's gonna be planted, and I can't wait to grow some stuff. One of the reasons that I've went with the tall raised beds is because we've got a number of resident groundhogs. So I wanna make sure that they can't get up and in my beds. And then I may add some wooden raised beds too, but most of the beds I add are gonna be taller to keep the groundhogs out, but also for easier access. Over the last month, I was also able to get all the blueberries cleaned up. Just like the strawberries, the weeds were getting big, so I went by with my weed whacker and trimmed them all down. Then rolled out the contractor's paper along the edge of the blueberries. Next, I cut slits in the contractor's paper where each blueberry is, so I could bring the contractor's paper around each blueberry plant to make sure no weeds can get through. Then I went by with a tractor and covered the contractor's paper with the wood chips and used my hands to bring the wood chips around the base of the blueberries while also tucking in the contractor's paper. Here are the blueberries now. I also went by and added wood chips in the center aisle here. This way, similar to the strawberries, I could just put a border around this whole section and keep it wood chipped, and I won't have to worry about weeds. Since I got the wood chips in, the blueberries have shown a lot of nice growth. They're looking way better now, and I'm happy with the progress of these plants. Because it took me so long to not only get wood chips, but also get the irrigation system in, I did lose a few blueberry plants. Like you'll notice back here, I lost a couple. But that's okay. I'm just going to have to replace them next year. Now that this area is set up, when I do get new blueberry plants, I'll just pull the wood chips back, drop them right in, and they'll stay nice and healthy because the soil will remain moist and cool, because blueberries have a lot of surface roots and they do not like when the ground dries out. For the raspberries, I followed that same process of getting the contractor's paper and the wood chips down. Now they have really explode into growth, and some are looking super, super healthy. I did lose a few raspberry plants though. Fortunately, raspberries are really easy to clone and they'll shoot up new raspberry plants, so I'll be able to move them around to get this section filled in. And then once I get the new ones in, they should do really well now that this whole growing area is all set up. I've got a bunch of tomatoes growing in containers and an eggplant or two. Most of these are for experiments that I'm super, super excited about to share with you in the future. And they're growing really, really well. I like this area here for container garden because it gets nice early sun, but then it gets a little shaded later in the evening. So it's a really good spot for this. I'll probably set up a container garden in here in the future and just get it a little more organized. But you gotta have some fresh tomatoes so you can go out, grab them right off the plants. Nothing like grabbing some super sweet 100. You can see this plant is lacking a little bit of nutrition, but I can't tell you why, because this is one of those experiments that you'll just have to stick around, hit the subscribe button if you want to find out what this experiment's about. Fortunately, my new wood chip connection is coming through for me and has dumped a massive amount of wood chips, really nice ones too, small wood chips, and you can see they're cooking on the inside there. Love to see it. This is how much wood chips I have left after wood chipping all my perennials. So we're gonna have a good amount of wood chips for all what we need them for in the future at the farm, and I'm happy to have an endless supply of wood chips. Overall, there has been a dramatic difference here over the last few months. Things have really greened up. The perennials are growing beautifully, and I'm so happy to see how well everything is just progressing, and it's nice to come out here and for it to be all green. It's a great feeling. And it's nice that the foundational setup for the whole entire farm is in. The perennials, the irrigation, we're starting to get the kitchen garden in. So now we could focus on beautifying it and a lot of those fun things, the annuals and stuff. Now that I've got the majority of, you know, the perennials and the most important, again, foundational things all in. And I get a lot of satisfaction knowing that I planted every single plant out here, every tree, every bush, every bramble, even every grass seed, all the grass seed. So it's been cool to come out every day to see the progression of it and to know that my hand has been like a part of it. It just makes it exciting every day to wake up and see, how are things growing? How are things doing? So it's just a lot of fun. I'm asking a lot of you to share some ideas with me of things you think I should implement, how I should maybe arrange the kitchen garden, or what kind of drip irrigation I should use for some sections, and just let me know down in the comments what you think I should do. I plan on adding some flowers. This is my idea right now. All different flowers on the edges of all the terraces to give us these beautiful, colorful bands of flowers that go throughout. And then on that second terrace behind the peach trees, I plan on adding some tomato trellises. So as things move ahead, it's just gonna get more and more beautiful. We're past the point where the whole backyard or the whole terraced area just almost looked like a parking lot. There was nothing green, nothing growing. Now we're at the early stages of just a food forest, garden paradise, and I'm so happy you guys are a part of it. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'm going to continue to bring you along for at least a monthly update, and these will be pretty cool in the future, I think, because, you know, 2 years from now, there's going to be a dramatic difference from the start to, you know, 2 years from now. But to give you these little updates between, I think is going to be a lot of fun, and you guys will be able to just be a part of all the progression and what we're doing moving forward. I have so many interesting ideas now that a lot of this early stage stuff is all set up. I wanted to send a thank you to one of our new channel members, Terry Howell. Thanks for being a part of Team Grow. Thanks for having your hand in everything we're doing out here. There's nothing like being out here. There's nothing like growing your own food, and I cannot wait to get the beds all in, the kitchen garden set up, and just grabbing fresh organic food right from the backyard. We'll catch you guys on another one real soon. We out.